Get excited. This case might be the best setup for dad jokes we've ever had on this show.
There's going to be a lot of groaning. Everybody's going to groan.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready.
What happens when an assistant principal gets fired for reading the kids' classic, I Need a New Butt, to hundreds of second graders?
Oh, God. Well, listen, man, I can tell you the court might question whether that termination passes the smell test, so to speak, because something smells rotten about this decision. This is a real case. This is a really real case. And it's all about this great book, everybody. I Need a New Butt by Don McMillan, illustrated by Ross Kinnaird. This is a great case to cover. Yep. A principal got fired for reading this book that my kids love.
Yeah, and we're going to probably make a bunch of jokes about it, but this is a serious case, right? Like
it is.
It has serious implications. We might make light of some of it, but this ticks all of the chalk and gavel buckets, right?
Oh yeah, totally. So one might say today we're going to get to the bottom of this case.
Okay. There's going to be so many of those.
I know, sorry. Strap in, folks. Okay, welcome to Chalk and Gavel, where we explore how the law shapes education, one case at a time, one butt case at a time. I'm Jamie Cudlitz, a former middle school math teacher and principal.
And I'm Chris Thomas. I've been a high school English teacher and a school attorney. Now we're both, hard to believe, professors of educational leadership, bringing you the fascinating stories connecting the courtroom to the classroom.
Chalk and Gavel is for educational purposes only. While Chris and Jamie always try to provide accurate information, the law is like what I'm willing to eat. It's always changing. This podcast is not legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship, but they promised me it would be a lot of fun. For you. Can I get my candy now?
The kids are alright. The kids are alright. The kids are alright.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Jamie, I think you've got our bell ringer.
I do. I'm going to try to get through this one real fast because we got to get to this, the butt case. Okay. So just a quick update on we've talked to you about this before, that issue, remember that issue in California about student pronoun usage and informing parents, and the California law basically said you don't have to do it, and some school districts challenged that, and there was confusion, whatever. Anyway, the Department of Education turns around in January, I think it was January, and tells California, you got to toss that law out. We're going to get you in trouble because that law is a violation of FERPA.
Interesting.
If you've listened to the show before, we've talked about FERPA a couple of times. It's the Education Records Act. So it makes sure that student records are private, but it also gives parents access to those educational records.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So the Federal Department of Education is basically saying, California, you are violating FERPA because you're not allowing parents to access records about their child's gender.
Yeah.
As they present at school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the update here is that California turned back around to the Department of Education and said, slow your roll, buddy.
Hey, butt out.
Hey, butt out. Yeah. Wrong case. Right episode. Wrong case. Said basically like, you're taking this FERPA thing way too far. You're basically telling us that you're going to get us in trouble for violating a law in a way that is like not commensurate with sort of what the law is there for and what it says. Right. And so the update here, the bell ringer, is that California has now sued the Department of Education.
Okay.
That's the bell ringer. It's just another twist
another wrinkle.
Yeah. In this ongoing saga, so to speak.
Wow. Yeah. I can't wait to cover the next decision in that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So much going on, man. Are you ready to get into this, this fun one?
Bottoms up.
We're going to have to say, but wait, there's more at some point in this case, right?
Yes, obviously.
Okay. All right. So I was just going to say, you probably guessed that we're going to say but a lot. We've already said it a lot. It's been like 5 minutes and we've said it 40 times. So this one, listen, I'm really sorry, everybody, but the 14-year-old version of me is probably going to come out quite a bit in this episode. So apologies in advance. It is what it is.
Need some levity.
That's right. That's right. So if those kind of sophomoric jokes are not your cup of tea, maybe go check out one of the other episodes that are a lot heavier. I mean, listen, this is heavy. Somebody got fired and,
right.
And had to go through a whole bunch of nonsense. So don't want to downplay that. Okay. But there are times when there's just so much ridiculousness in this system. We've got to call it out for what it is. So we will be doing that today, everybody. Okay. So today's episode deals with important issues that are related to when and how schools can terminate their contracted employees. Today, we're talking about the case name is Price. This stuff, you can't make this up. The case is called Price versus Hinds County School District. Yes, Hinds County School District, as in behinds.
That's probably why they were so up in arms about this.
Yeah.
It hit really close to home.
I mean, the stuff writes itself. Okay. So Toby Price is a Mississippi educator who was fired in 2022 for reading what I have shown up here on the screen as the book called I Need a New Butt. And he read it to a group of second graders. So here is what happened. Price was the assistant principal of Gary Road Elementary School in 2022, which was in Hinds County, Mississippi. Okay. He had been in that role since 2018. Before that, he was a teacher for about 9 years, and he was an administrator in other schools for another 9 years.
Okay.
So, this guy had 20 years of experience as an educator.
Right. And about half of that in the classroom and half of that as a building leader. So, he's
there's
not
a lot
new
of
to this
experience.
job.
Yeah. He knows schools. So, in March of 2022, Price was asked to set up a Read Across America Day for his second graders. Now, do you know anything, English teacher, about Read Across America Day?
I actually don't.
Yeah, you
I
were
assume
high school.
You read everywhere.
It's just one of those kind of national initiatives, and schools can kind of handle it however they want to handle it. And it's just one of, it's not like there's a law that says everybody has to stop what they're doing and read that day, but it's just,
I wouldn't hate it.
it's an incentive. I know it's an incentive to kind of get everybody to read. Anyway.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
So he was asked to set up a Read Across America Day for his second graders. So Gary Road Elementary serves students up through second grade. So to start getting students excited for that transition to third grade, which is Gary Road Intermediate School, he asked one of the teachers from the intermediate school to read to the second graders. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Come on down. Let's start getting them excited for third grade at this new school. Will you read to the kids? The teacher agreed. He sent a Zoom link and everything was good to go. So the day of the event comes and all of the second grade teachers joined the Zoom meeting. The kids were excited and the teacher didn't show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So Price reaches out to her. I don't know how, email, phone, something, but he reached out to her, no response. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I can tell you right now.
Right. You're the administrator. How are you feeling in this moment?
And I can tell you, I think I've had more situations like this than I could probably keep track of, where I had all of something planned out, and I get a whole bunch of kids into a room, and then some critical thing doesn't happen.
Oh,
and then I have to scramble.
I assume that's like 80% of what school leaders have to deal with. I mean, we always joke that like education is building the plane as you fly it, right? Like we are natural at improvisation. Improv.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we're building the plane as we fly it. And as we're flying it and as we're building it, somebody turns to us and says, "Oh, I left that part back on the ground." Like, "Oh, crap.
It's all right. I got some chewing gum and rubber bands. We'll be fine."
So that's what happened here. Price probably starting to freak out a bit, or maybe he's calm, cool, and collected. Right? He's like, okay,
he's been doing this 10 years.
A little glitch. Let's pivot. All right. And he improvises. He steps in and he saves the day.
Could you say he butt in? Did I use that joke? I probably already did. That's fine.
It's fine. Yes. So he butts in. Well, I mean, he's butting into himself because this is his show.
Sure. It wasn't the best. I'm not saying it was my best joke, Jamie.
Okay. So he's in his office. Remember, everybody's on Zoom, right? I don't know why, but they're all on Zoom. And he's got to entertain these second graders. So he grabs one of the books that's just sitting on the shelf. And he's familiar with the book, which is nice because it's sitting on his shelf. And it'd be nice to know what is sitting on your shelf, right? And the book is, again, it's called "I Need a New Butt." All right. Now, for those of you who have not yet had the pleasure of reading this book.
I was not familiar with it.
Really?
No. Our oldest is 5, and like I feel like it's right there.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that'll be my homework.
Well, yeah. That's right. You got homework. I've known this book for a number of years. It was actually my mother bought it for my son, who reads the disclaimer on the show, a number of years ago. My son is 9 now, but yeah, she bought the book and he really got a kick out of it. I will say though, my daughter, who is almost 4, is like, she's gotten even more of a kick out of this book than my son ever did. She loves it. Anyway, if you haven't had the pleasure to read this book, it's a cute little fun book. I think the Hinds County
superintendent
school board did not think so, but let's talk about that. So it's a children's book, and it's about a kid who realizes that, his butt is broken.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's got a crack in it.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah. So the book is all about, like, he needs to find a new one, right? And he goes through a whole bunch of different types of butts.
Okay.
Right? It's fun. It's got some funny lines and some cute little illustrations. There's very cartoonish depictions of butts.
So the depictions is not just the vocabulary, like that's a big issue too, but like the depictions ends up being a really big point of contention, right?
Yeah.
Can you share some for our folks on video?
Yeah, I'll share some. It starts out with a little picture of a kid examining himself in the mirror.
Like in the mirror too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it says, "I need a new butt. Mine's got a crack. I can see in the mirror a crack at the back."
Oh, I like that rhyme scheme.
Oh yeah. The rhyming. I love the rhyming.
Nice.
And then it's got some pictures, and it says, "Did I do it on the side or did I do it on the slide or on the banister inside? Or when I jumped my BMX, or with the fart that happened next?"
Okay, so it's a more potty language.
Yeah. And then it says, "Of course, the fart. That's what blew my butt apart. Split the thing clean in two. Now I wonder what to do."
All right, so this sounds really cute.
It's cute. I think it's cute. I need a new one, a green one or a blue one, a fat one or a thin one, a wood one or a tin one. And then it starts, with why not an arty farty butt?
Oh.
Or yellow spotted, purple dotted. See, just all these like cute little
Yeah,
illustrations.
like absurd. Yeah.
A butt as bright as I dare to wear, a butt as bright as Dad's underwear.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, like, how does it end, right? Like,
So it goes on, he talks about all the different types of butts that would be really cool to have. What a knight's butt, a bumper butt made of chrome. It ends with, he basically resigns himself to the fact that, he says, no, I think it's all too late. This cracked butt is my fate.
oh no.
I'm here on my own in this cracked butt zone. No one to care, no one to share. Wait, what's that I hear? This is outrageous. Are butt cracks contagious?
Oh.
And it's got a picture, for those of you who can't see this, it's got a picture of Dad fixing the kitchen sink, and he's bent over and his pants are coming down just a little bit, and you can see Dad also has a crack.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the kid realizes, like, oh, I'm just like everyone else.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or-
that has some like nice like body positivity messages, right?
Well,
like,
I mean, listen. Yeah, I think one could say that.
I mean, it's a funny kid's book.
I
Don't get me
couldn't-
wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't really read into it that
Well,
much. I would just say it's
I'm
a
the
cute
English
little
major,
funny.
so let me read into it.
So anyway, so Price reads that book to his second graders, and I assume that they loved it.
I mean, I was entertained.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think this is exactly the sort of thing that second graders and apparently us professors
Yeah.
find hilarious. Some of us.
It probably also helps that we both have young children
Yeah.
and never really grew up.
No, we did not. So later, Price explains that he read the book because humor is a great way to get children interested in reading, and because the book tells an important message about accepting your body.
Okay. See,
I agree wholeheartedly with the first part, and just a little bit with the second
fine.
part.
yeah.
I mean,
but like if it's Read Across America, like if you're trying to get kids interested in reading,
Yeah.
humor, fantastic.
Totally,
right?
totally. He also said that it gives students an opportunity to be in on the joke because they know that there's nothing wrong with the character's butt, which makes it even funnier.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Unfortunately for Price, not everybody agreed with the literary merits of I Need a New Butt.
Yeah.
Later that day, the principal of the school grew concerned after she discovered a student chanting butt outside of her office.
I mean, this is an elementary school.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Have a conversation. Like that's
Right.
like, and not like, anyway, the student had previously gotten in trouble for pulling his pants down in class. So that was probably part of the concern.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe there's a pattern and it got exacerbated by this book. Sure.
I get that. Now, I would think, again, like I've got a third grader, and he was familiar with this book long before he was in third grade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he would have ever pulled his pants down in class as a
Right.
result.
Well, the pants down thing was before this book was ever read.
Oh.
It was the chanting of
Oh,
butt.
I must have misread that. Okay. So, well then, so it sounds like that particular second grader has
Just-
some other
had some other challenges. Yeah.
challenges. Exactly. Had nothing to do with the book. That is the only report of any disruption or any negative impact after this book was read.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Like it was a non-issue after this
Well,
book was read.
I mean,
except-
it wasn't.
Well, no, as far as the kids were concerned,
Okay.
right? Like,
or at least it's not documented, right? Like,
right.
that's
It's
the
not
big
part
thing.
of it.
Like,
Yeah, not part of
it
the court
wasn't
opinion.
part of the record or the evidence.
Yes, correct. Correct.
So that's the only documented disruption or any impact from Price reading this book.
Yes.
And they're going to fire him?
A kid prone to butt-related incidents was chanting butt outside of the office, and that's the only thing in the record about any disruption that happened after this book was read.
And that's what snowballed this whole thing. Okay.
Yeah. So no complaints from parents, no complaints from teachers, no other evidence of kids misbehaving or using inappropriate language, nothing. All right. So, of course, because this is chalk and gavel, that ain't where it ends, folks.
Right.
The principal texts the superintendent, whose name is Dr. Martin, about the situation. Dr. Martin tells the principal, you need to speak with the teachers. Try to get some more information about exactly what happened. Okay.
Okay. So she sent her a text message?
Yeah. So a little bit of a red flag there, folks.
Yeah. The problem with texting is it's a public record.
Yeah, which
and now
opens
you've
up
put public records on your personal cell
device.
phone.
Yeah.
I assume it's your personal cell phone, right? Like, so
I would think so. Yeah.
you know, that just like, because this resulted in litigation, spoiler alert, not really a spoiler, this is chalk and gavel. That means that somebody subpoenaed her cell phone, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
And
if
so
you
there's-
don't want somebody to search through your cell phone, don't text
put any
about
work stuff on it.
Don't put work stuff. Like, don't text about work stuff.
Yeah.
Use messaging apps, use email, whatever. Like, you know, and the email, like, you know, they can search that on their own servers. So like they don't need your
Right.
phone, even if you email from your phone. Right.
Right.
So, you know, I read that and I was just like, I mean, I get it. It's
Yes.
convenient. It's easy. Give her a
Yeah,
call.
just pick up the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That also
some-
might just be the attorney and me talking.
So somebody probably collected more information about this. Maybe not. It's unclear how much of the investigation actually took place because later that day, Dr. Martin talked to Price and informed him he was being placed on administrative leave due to the reading.
That day.
That day.
But,
So,
okay.
I mean, like, it feels to me a little thin, premature.
Right. Well, I mean, it gets worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, they fired him.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean-
okay.
So 2 days later, Price was informed that he was fired.
Okay. So he went from being suspended within like
Hours.
hours to being fired
Yeah.
within 2 days.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, and yeah, like that doesn't feel like enough time to develop anything, especially because like it turns out that when they get challenged on this, they
Yeah.
don't have any evidence to show what happened.
Right.
And so we've talked about other situations where like schools have moved quickly to address situations. So like I'm thinking
Sometimes
about-
too quickly.
sometimes too quickly, but sometimes quick isn't bad, right?
No.
So like I'm thinking about the Alaskan principal who made the coasters.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
fired within a number of days too.
Yeah.
But it was after an investigation and like they did a lot more. They did due diligence and they were able to point to that due diligence. And, you know, that decision ultimately got upheld.
But there was
The
also
decision got upheld. The process had some issues, but like it got upheld because they had evidence to back
Well-
up their decision.
and a lot of that evidence took place very quickly
Right.
after like that day. Like there were Facebook messages flying and the picture of the thing was getting
Right.
sent around and people were making comments about how inappropriate it was. And that was like that night.
Right. And they got
Essentially.
statements from the principal like the next day saying like,
Yeah.
I don't think I can be a good leader now because no one is going to trust me.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And here, like it's the same truncated timeline, but they don't have any of that.
Or at least it doesn't show up in any of the records here.
Or they didn't collect it and document it, right?
Right.
Which
And
is
now keep something in
document.
Keep something in mind. Like they put him on administrative leave that day, which means they didn't talk to any parents because the parents wouldn't have known that the book was even read.
That's right.
The kids weren't even home yet.
Right. And I mean, maybe you can put them on administrative leave and then do your investigation.
Right.
But 2 days and a lack of evidence
Yeah.
suggests perhaps that they
Right.
not skip that step, but let's say breezed over it.
Breezed over it. Yeah. Yeah. So Price, understandably, not very happy about this outcome because he appealed the decision to the district's Board of Education. Now, remember, this is how the firings work. We've talked about this before in public schools, is the superintendent makes a recommendation to the board. The board is the one that decides who gets fired and all that stuff. So, so he appeals the decision to the district's board. The district holds a due process hearing before a hearing officer. Remember, diet court kind of thing.
Yep.
Both sides have a chance to put on their case. Now, for the district, the only person to testify was the superintendent, Dr. Martin.
And that is another interesting thing. Like,
She wasn't even there.
only person to present the case
Yeah.
is the superintendent. So
Yeah.
like, again, that's not a flimsy case. I mean, maybe, but it's a thin case.
Yeah. She wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So she recounted the events, at least I'm assuming, as she was told about
As she
them
understood
because
them, right?
you know, she wasn't there. She read portions of the book, just as I did. And she explained that the book was not a part of the curriculum and was not in the school's library. Then she,
Okay.
I mean, like, listen, I get
mean,
that. I get that. But like, let's,
Right.
I don't know. I just, this thing feels very over the top to me, but
Which makes me think that this is not the whole story, right? Like there's
Somebody was
something
mad.
else going on here
yeah,
under the
Maybe.
surface.
maybe. Yeah.
Because like that was my exact reaction, right? Like, yeah, sure, like this book is juvenile. Maybe it's not appropriate for certain age groups. Like, yeah, I get all that.
I get that.
But
But
like,
like to fire
going
somebody and
in
with
2 days.
in 2 days without, like, there clearly wasn't community uproar over this.
Right.
It's not like they were reacting to, holy crap, this thing has really done some damage in the district.
Right.
You know, it just seems like somebody was just like, you know, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe they didn't like the guy. Anyway.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Like maybe this is just like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like this is the last thing, but no evidence of anything else is in the record.
Yeah.
And if there is, then like that's really problematic because if you don't like, if you're looking for an excuse to get rid of Price, like
Get
this
some other
is-
evidence. This probably
Right.
shouldn't be it,
which, you know,
which is what the courts.
exactly, right? Like
this is
you
not
can't
really-
hang your hat on the last straw.
No, exactly. So she ultimately just says, listen, he didn't act professionally. No buts about it.
I don't think she said that.
It would have been, listen,
That would have been the height of irony.
I would have been very happy and entertained if she had said
Uh-huh.
that. Now, in defending that determination that Price had acted unprofessionally, she explained that, quote, one of the most important things when dealing with impressionable second graders is to be consistent, unquote. In other words, whatever was expected of the students can't be one thing one day and something different the next day.
Okay.
Not incorrect. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, consistency is incredibly important for all kids.
Right.
But the other thing I would say on that is basically kids also need to learn through experience the importance of context, right? And
Right.
when you know certain things are appropriate in certain situations and other things aren't, those things aren't appropriate in other situations, and you
Right.
know, like, so consistency is really important, but at the same time, so is understanding when things can't be consistent. How do I deal with that?
Right. Well, and it sounds like Dr. Martin is insinuating that this book is somehow teaching kids that it's okay to like,
To pull your pants down?
right. Or yeah. Or to go around saying, but, which, I mean, apparently a student did. So maybe that's the message they got, but like, it was one student, right? Like,
Well, and it was one student who had
history,
a previous, maybe not a history, but at least a previous incident involving something similar. And it's like I said before, like I think that, second, third graders, for the most part, being exposed to language like but is not necessarily all that uncommon, and they still know I'm not going to, say this or pull my pants down or whatever.
Right.
And for those that are struggling to figure that out, here are some good opportunities to have conversations.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah. Anyway, so Martin stated that the Price's reading of the book was inappropriate, unprofessional on every level, and that illustrations depicting cartoon character, a child with a naked bottom, just has no place in the school setting, is what she said.
Okay.
So she added that Price admitted that he exercised poor judgment in his statement.
Okay.
So he did say, okay, all right, so maybe I shouldn't have read that.
Right.
On cross-examination, though, in this diet court, Dr. Martin sort of puts her foot in her mouth. So Price's attorney asked her about a host of other books in the elementary school's library that include illustrations of butts and used other kinds of potty words like chicken butt or fart.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to love the transcript of this episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Which, like, if your whole point is like, hey, that is wholly inappropriate for this setting. I can't believe he did that. Oh, by the way, there's a bunch of other things in our library.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one of the other books is a book called No David, which we have as well. We have
No David too. Yeah.
Here in the house.
Yeah. There's an image of him like running down the street completely naked behind, like jumping in the air.
Yeah. With his, with his butt cheeks flapping out there. Another one of the books was a book called Chicken Butt, which we don't have.
I'm familiar with it.
And then like a collection of poems by Shel Silverstein. Shel Silverstein, classics, man.
Absolutely classics.
Anyway, after Dr. Martin testified, the district rested its case, and it was Price's turn.
Okay. That is already a big red flag for me. Like,
yeah,
you are doing a termination due process hearing.
Yes.
Like, one of the most important things about this whole thing is the process and the evidence.
And now the evidence that you're trying to bring about this professionalism and the inappropriateness of the book and how it's not in the library and everything because of the pictures of butts and everything. Now they're poking a lot of holes.
Right. Which makes you seem inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like this is a knee-jerk reaction. It wasn't thought through.
You could say there's a lot of cracks in the case.
That was good.
Okay, really good. Listen. So Price, it's his turn. It's Price's turn to defend himself. He brings Dr. Brian Kissel to testify as an expert witness. Kissel was a literacy professor at Vanderbilt.
Oh, big deal. Okay.
Yeah, and had been an educator for 25 years and a professor for another 16.
Wow.
Okay. Dr. Kissel testified about the importance of finding materials that engage students and the value of humor. He stated unequivocally that, quote, if I had my own second grade classroom, I would use I need a new butt in my classroom.
Okay. That's a pretty strong endorsement.
Yeah.
Right. So, like this expert who's been doing this for 40 years said unequivocally, like, look, I not only see no problem with this, but I would do it too.
Yeah, exactly. Price tried to introduce other expert witnesses, but the hearing officer didn't allow them to testify in person, saying that was cumulative evidence, but that they could submit sworn statements. I guess that's just their way of saying, we don't need 10 people to say the same thing.
Right. And
that's normal. Right?
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah. So then Price gets up. It's his turn to testify on his own behalf.
The Price already put on more witnesses than the district did.
Yeah, exactly. He explains why he read the book, what he thought that it taught, and that he felt like it was all blown out of proportion. Okay? He explained that while reading the book, he added commentary like things like, we obviously can't do that, or isn't that silly? Okay. To show students how what the character was doing was inappropriate, probably in this school context, right?
Sure.
He also said that if Dr. Martin or Miss Lampkin were to say, and Miss Lampkin, I believe
The
was the principal,
yeah.
was to say, hey, Price, that book isn't appropriate. Don't read it. I would have said, yes, ma'am, not a problem. It would go on the shelf and never see the light of day again. That's what Price said.
Right. And that's like, you know, if we're thinking about like proportional responses, that seems to be the thing to do here.
Yeah. Now, this is probably the best twist in this case. Price also testified that he had read the sequel to I Need a New Butt, which was titled I Broke My Butt.
Of course it was.
Okay, the sequel by the same author and the same illustrator. He testified that he had read that book to students in the past without incident.
Ooh.
In fact, a recording of him reading that book was posted to the Gary Road Facebook page during COVID with the caption, warning, today's book features the use of the word but. You may giggle uncontrollably.
That's cute.
Okay, so like he had read a very similar book in the past, zero incident. It had been published on their Facebook page. It was pushed out to the public in a much bigger way than this particular incident in question.
And it doesn't sound like there was any issues with that when that happened. So now you've got like two major issues, right? Like not only has Price done this before and not gotten in trouble on a wider scale, but you also have books with the same content in the library.
Yes.
So now like every, you know, it's looking more and more and more like this was a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So here's another interesting wrinkle. There's so much more to this. When it was time for the district to cross-examine Price, they pushed him on the nature of the book, obviously,
yeah.
right? But they also challenged statements he had made to the media about the case.
Okay.
The media. In an interview, Price had said that he was shocked by all of this and that he'd never been disciplined before in his 20 years of teaching. Turns out, the district then introduced a witness from Price's previous school who testified that there had been concerns with Price's performance and that he was not going to be renewed for the next year.
Oh. That's it?
That's it. Instead of being non-renewed, Price resigned.
Okay. So this is a really interesting wrinkle for this case.
Right?
So basically Price says this to the media and like, one, like that isn't discipline, right? Like it doesn't sound like he was non-renewed or that they put in anything like, I mean, it doesn't even say that like they documented these concerns. So like, you know, that doesn't seem like he's getting disciplined, right?
No.
Or for like, especially for like misconduct. Obviously that's not misconduct if it's just performance concerns. But what this is the district is trying to impeach Price's credibility. So in court, like that's one of the things you can do is like, if you've got these people testifying, you can basically draw into question how believable their testimony is.
Right.
And so here they're trying to impeach Price and basically say like, oh, well, he lied about this thing. So maybe he's lying about everything else he's saying.
Right.
And, you know, I'm thinking that this is very much like, this is the district's lawyers trying to do the best they can with the case they've got because they don't have a lot here.
Yeah.
And so any little thing they can get to like undermine Price is probably something that they're looking for. So like this feels, I mean, it feels super petty, right? Like it feels so petty, but I can see the strategy behind why they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's how all of this kind of landed. All right. So we have the hearing. Now it's time for the school board to make its decision. And the decision was 2-1. Okay. With 2 members abstaining. Okay.
That's a close decision.
Yeah. 5-member school board. 2 members said, well, I'm not participating in this. And so it was 2-1. And they found good cause to terminate Price's contract. Okay.
Right. And that's what you need.
Good
in
cause.
most states, good or just cause during the life of a contract.
Right. And so in providing the reasons for that cause, they listed 5 reasons. Okay. Here we
Okay.
go. Ready?
Ready.
The first reason is the book contained pictures of child and adult nudity. And
Which is also in the library.
is also in the library. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 2, Mr. Price's prior actions regarding a similar book acknowledged the problematic nature of books such as this book.
Wait.
Why? Yeah. I
Wait.
mean,
So they're saying that the warning that he put, or that was on the, so maybe he wrote that social media post, but like that was on the social media post saying like, warning, this book contains the word "but," you might giggle uncontrollably.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that means he knew what he was doing was wrong.
that sounds like what they're trying to say here, which is just
That is a
mind-boggling to me.
stretch. Right.
Yeah.
Or he knew because of what he did that was cool with the district because they didn't punish him the first time. So I actually see that one cut in the other direction.
It sounds like some of these people might have something stuck up their butts. Anyway, number 3.
I mean, it is Hinds County.
Yeah. Number 3, the book had an immediate negative impact upon a student.
A student.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, okay. All
There's
right.
lots of books that we cover in schools that have impacts on students.
Right.
And
like,
that is not necessarily a reason to get rid of books.
right. And
because
also like the negative impact here.
'Cause he said
doesn't
but.
seem right. Right. Like that's a quick redirect.
Right, exactly. Number 4, Mr. Price violated Standard 1 and Standard 4 of the Mississippi Code of Ethics.
All right. Now we're getting into the meat of it.
Yeah. And number 5, Mr. Price's testimony lacks credibility.
See, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because if you believe Mr. Price's version of the story, this doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah.
So they had to undermine that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of this feels a little flimsy. The only one that we might need to unpack a little bit is the code of ethics thing, right?
Sure.
Because every state has a code of ethics that educators, administrators are kind of required to follow.
Right.
All right. So the Mississippi Code of Ethics, Standard 1, Standard 4. Standard 1 says that an educator should demonstrate conduct that follows generally recognized professional standards.
Oh. Is that just saying like the code of conduct is
Be
to
professional.
Yeah. is to
Yeah.
follow the code of conduct?
Not very helpful.
The first rule of the code of conduct is follow the code of conduct.
That's funny. So while it's not very helpful, it does give a few examples of ethical conduct and, more importantly, examples of unethical conduct. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you for helping
Examples
to
are great.
unpack
I love
this.
examples.
Yeah. So some of these examples include harassment of colleagues, misuse or mismanagement of tests or test materials, inappropriate language on school grounds or any school-related activity. There's
That one maybe fits.
Maybe.
But it's undermined by having similar books in the library, right?
Right, that. And we also have to look at some of the other things that are surrounding this. Harassment of colleagues, misuse or mismanagement of testing kinds of things, physical altercations, failure to provide appropriate supervision of students, like all of those other things.
Right. They're not talking about like saying the word butt and fart.
No, exactly. Right. And inappropriate language, there's a lot of language out there that is far more inappropriate
Right.
than butt or fart.
Exactly.
So that was Standard 1. Standard 4, it says an educator should always maintain a professional relationship with all students, both in and outside of the classroom. It also gives ethical and unethical examples, most of which deal with inappropriate relationships or contact, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Between staff and students, right? Like that's what I'm thinking this one's about.
Yeah. And it does also say that educators should provide an environment that does not necessarily expose students to unnecessary embarrassment or disparagement. That was the language the district relied on. And I have to say, like, again, as a former teacher and principal, I agree wholeheartedly with Standard 4. It says that an educator should always maintain a professional relationship with all students, both in and outside of the classroom. I agree with that 100%. But personally, that comes from building meaningful relationships with them, because when you do encounter complex situations, those existing relationships are the power that allow you to teach.
Right.
Okay? If these kids didn't know this guy and he walks in and reads that book, that could be a very different situation than this guy who already has important, meaningful relationships with kids.
Right.
And in that case, the negative impact, like that's not going to have a negative impact on the relationship that he has with kids.
Right.
If
That's
that
why I
makes sense.
think it's so odd that they hung their hat on this, like, needlessly expose students to unnecessary embarrassment or disparagement. Like, there's no, like, he read a book.
Yeah.
No one said that they were embarrassed. Like, he didn't call a kid out, which I think is what that's kind of getting at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like, I see what you're saying. Like, education's all about relationships.
100%. And like reading a book like this is not going to have nearly the negative impact on relationships.
It's how you build them.
It's how you build
Right?
them.
Like,
it's all of the
you
other
bond through
stuff.
humor.
And honestly, I could probably make a much stronger argument for how this helps build relationships,
Right.
rather than break them down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I'm stepping off of my pedestal, and I'm going to hand it over to you, sir, to tell us what happened. What did the court find with this?
Sure. So after the District Board of Education upheld the termination, Price brought a lawsuit. He's got some questions, right?
As we did. Yeah.
Right. So he files a petition with the state court to review the decision of the board. So he's looking for reinstatement in his position. So he wants to basically get his job back.
Yeah.
And he wants back pay, basically saying that, hey, you shouldn't have fired me in the first place because your decision, board, didn't demonstrate that I'd actually violated the code of ethics or any of the other things that you said you fired me for.
Yep.
And now this is important. So like the court's review of this is kind of limited because they're just looking at whether or not there's substantial evidence to support the decision or whether or not the decision is arbitrary or capricious. So the important thing here is that the court is not substituting their judgment for that of the school board. They're just saying like,
did the school board have enough?
Some evidence.
Yeah.
Was it reasonable? Exactly. And the trial court in this actually says, hey, this all seems a little silly, but board, I guess you did a good enough job. You made a good enough case. I'm not going to second guess you. So I'm going to defer.
Okay.
You got enough. But
Okay.
the trial court even says like, this seems a little.
We're walking a fine line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't see the problem here, but whatever.
Yeah.
But the appellate court has a different opinion. So they look at this question of substantial evidence and they say, where is it?
Where's
the substantial evidence? You know, they look at the situation that Price was in. He had to find a book on the spur of the moment. He thought on his feet, grabbed a book that was related to a book he had previously read without incident that is similar to other books in the school library. He had no way of knowing that he was going to get in trouble for any of this. And, you know, there's no evidence other than that one student that he violated any of the like,
or that those actions had any kind of negative impact.
right. Yeah. Which suggests that like, there's no evidence to show that he violated these ethical standards.
Right.
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 And so, you know, there's no school rule about not saying fart or butt. And there's books in the same language in the school library, like all of those.
Mm-hmm.
There's no evidence that any students felt embarrassed. Like,
Yep.
there's just no evidence here, which is why we always say document,
That's
right?
That's right.
And that alone is enough to overturn the board's decision, but the court's not done. But wait, there's more. The court then looks at whether or not this decision was arbitrary or capricious. So for the court, that means that a decision is, arbitrary and capricious if it is not done according to reason or judgment, but depending on will alone, or it is done without reason, this is my favorite quote, in a whimsical manner, implying either a lack of understanding or a disregard for the surrounding facts.
I just imagine, I envision a like a superintendent flittering around.
Right. Like
whimsical.
Oh, yeah, you're
have a
fired,
wand.
and you're fired, and you're fired. So, put simply, like, was the decision inconsistent or unreasonable based on the circumstances?
Right.
For all the reasons we've already talked about, like, the court says, yes, this was unreasonable. He'd read the sequel to the students without any issues. It was posted on the school's social media, which had a much wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
Books of the exact same character were in the school library. All of that seems to suggest that the decision here was arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
So, bottom line, Prince's termination was unlawful. It lacked substantial evidence. It was reached in an arbitrary and capricious manner. So the Court of Appeals ordered Price to be reinstated in his position and remanded the case to the trial court to figure out how much he was due in back pay.
Yeah,
which this case went from, he was fired in 2022. This decision is from January of 2026. So
God.
that could be a
That's
decent
a lot
chunk
of
of change.
back pay. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because, if he's not able to find similar work in the meantime, which I think, based on my read of the facts, like, he was having trouble finding another principal gig.
Yeah. When you're in the middle of litigation about your performance,
Right.
like people might be a little hesitant to say, oh, I'll bring you on until, because I would think that schools, attorneys and things like that would be, let's stay away from this hot potato until
Right.
till
Well, and
things
it's
cool
probably
down.
a small community. Like,
Yeah.
word gets out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, it could be a significant.
Yeah, that could be a few $100,000 or just
could
in
be,
back
yeah.
pay, right?
Right. And he should get his job back, is
Yeah.
what the court says too, right?
Yeah.
Like, this case is not done. So this decision came out in January of 2026. In February, so just a couple weeks ago, when we're recording this, the district filed a motion for reconsideration, basically asking the Court of Appeals to rethink its decision. So we'll have to see what that does. Or, maybe they appeal this to the Supreme Court of Mississippi.
Right.
We'll have to see.
Because it's
So-
employment stuff, which means it's state. It's all handled within the state.
It's all based on state law.
Yeah, exactly.
So for now, at least, Price was unlawfully fired.
Wow. So, okay. So here are our takeaways.
Document.
Oh, man, big time. And like, if you want to get rid of somebody for this reason or that reason, make sure
Do it
you
the
have
right
evidence for that reason and not try to, take
Right.
something else. And I'm not saying
Don't-
that's what they did here,
Right.
but
If that was the case.
if that was the case, don't knee jerk react.
Right. That's a
Right?
big one for me, is like, it feels like this kind of just spiraled out of control.
Within 2
where,
days. Yeah.
They suspended him immediately, and then like nothing apparently happened according to the court record in those 2 days.
Right.
And then they just fired him. And
Yeah.
so like, it seemed like it was a very knee jerk reaction. And if it wasn't a knee jerk reaction, if they had reasons for doing what they did, they didn't document those and they didn't present those as part of their case for why they got rid of Price. Right. And if they had done that, maybe things definitely would have come out differently, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, if there were other things unrelated to the reading of this book, then like you needed to document those too and include those in your reasons.
Yeah.
Because if you don't include those in your reasons, then you can't rely on them later.
Right.
So yeah, like this whole thing kind of like,
It stinks.
it did. The court said so too.
Oh man. Listen, the last thing I will say is I'm probably going to read this book to my kid tonight.
I might go to the bookstore and see if I can find a copy.
It's fun. It's a cute one.
Yeah.
It's a cute one. All right, Chris, give us our homework.
Sure. Your homework is to help us make sure that Chalk and Gavel doesn't go bottoms up by liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, all of those fun things you do to support the show. You can also go to chalkandgavel.com. We've got our merch up there, including our amazing Can I Get My Candy Now mug and the Ultimate Dad hat. We also just recently rolled out our new episode database on the new website. So if you're looking for a specific case or an episode on a certain topic for classes, for professional development, whatever it might be, check that out on chalkandgavel.com. all the resources you need are there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, that does it. You know, we've hit the backside of this episode, so we're all well, that was a little bit of a stretch. Okay. We will see you again in 2 weeks, everybody, on Chalk and Gavel.